And you know, I think that when it comes to tone, this is one of the very few kinds of movies that has to be, you know, funny, adventurous, scary, science fiction, about ethics. And I wanted an opportunity for us to go to the wall on every single one. It was just an awesome experience.
Pretty cool. Spared no expense.
It was a pleasure. And thank you for hanging out on the set of Jurassic World and being in my movie.
Thanks for having me. Well, guys, this has been Chris and Colin Take on the World.
Signing off.
We bid you adieu.
We were working on ER, which I was going to direct as a feature film. Then Michael Crichton had written about his own experiences in medicine when he was an intern. And I asked him one day what he was doing next, what kind of book was he writing? And he said, all I can tell you, because all my books are secret, this book is about dinosaurs and DNA. And it changed my life because I immediately lost interest in ER as a movie and started pumping him for news about what this was all about. And that was the beginning of evolving Jurassic Park into a film.
The first time I remember openly defying my parents, I was about 15 years old, maybe 16, and I was grounded from seeing movies for several weeks. And a friend of mine worked at the movie theater and told me we were going to screen Jurassic Park at midnight with just the theater employees who didn't get here. So I snuck out of the house, and I don't encourage other young people to do it, but it was a very indelible memory. It's one of the most thrilling films ever made. But I didn't just want to infuse the spirit of Jurassic Park into this movie. It was the feeling that I had watching a lot of Stevens movies and the other Amblin movies as a young kid. Ready and act! This movie is more about bringing back the feeling that all of those movies gave me, and it's not something that you can define necessarily, and it's not something you can manufacture. It's about infusing it with a soul. It just makes you feel like you want to be on that adventure with those characters.
So we're going to go over here. We have a room set up with some art.
I got a call from Frank Marshall after I directed a very small film called Safety Not Guaranteed, and Steven saw it, and we came in and we spoke for a little while, and we talked, not about necessarily even what this film was going to be, but about why people love this franchise, why people love these stories, and what are the elements that have connected with people over 22 years that we wanted to try and recapture for a new generation.
He had a story to tell. He didn't just come in and say, I'd like to render my services directing the fourth installment. He came in with an actual story, and just on paper, even before it was a screenplay, his story worked.
And the eye goes right to the visitor center, the central visitor center.
We also made sure to put a fence so you don't get eaten if you go swimming on this side.
Right.
Steven had the idea to make it a fully functioning theme park. And then the other idea that he brought forward, which I thought was fascinating, is let's make a movie about our relationship with animals on our planet right now, but replace them with dinosaurs.
Blue! Watch it!
And what if humans and dinosaurs have been coexisting for a while and we get to go to the next level of that relationship? There were a lot of really interesting themes and ideas in that, so we just grabbed onto that and ran with it as far as we could.
He's always been a fan of the characters I write, and I've always been a fan of the stories he comes up with and the plotting and structure he can do. And so when we get together, it all seems to work out and create this cool, unique tone that each of us on our own don't possess, but when we come together, we can make it work.
You made a genetic hybrid, raised it in captivity. She does not even know what she is. She will kill everything that moves.
They began making hybrids of different dinosaurs, combining them in a way that they never naturally would have been combined, meaning it's a complete manifestation of the hubris of man. Indominus wasn't bred. She was designed. Anyone that knows the Jurassic Park franchise knows that this is not a good thing.
But it's not just dinosaurs running around and something goes wrong. Colin and Derek put a real point of view into this one.
You don't learn anything about these these animals except what you want to know. You made them, and now you think you own them.
Well, we do own them. We're sitting on a gold mine.
Colin has opinions about corporations doing everything for money and pushing and pushing and pushing the envelope as far as you can.
Did you close the deal? I did. Verizon Wireless presents Indominus Rex.
Oh, that's terrible to hear.
I stay involved with the script and the shaping of the story. And then if the director invites me into the process, I don't like to impose myself, but if the director invites me into the process, you know, and shows me the storyboards and the previs, which Colin did, I love that. My confidence was so high in what Colin was going to achieve.
A movie like this, especially with a director who's coming off a $750,000 movie, you would assume they would say, meet your cinematographer and meet your costume designer, and they did. I was able to choose my team.
There's going to be a version where we go out in there with him, but we also want to do a version where we go behind the bars. Yeah. And I think this is the behind the bars. Yeah, absolutely.
I think John Schwartzman has shot some of the more beautiful films that I've seen, and he got excited about it, and we came in right away, and you know, we're going to shoot this thing on film, or we're going to shoot 65 out in the jungle, and so we got very excited, just as film nerds, and he's got one of the best teams in the business, and it was extremely collaborative. And I brought in Daniel Orlandi, who actually worked with Ron Howard on a lot of movies, and who Bryce knew very well. And Ed Verreau, you know, he and I worked very, very closely in trying to design a world that's not sci-fi. It's not completely out there, a world of the future. And I think that the movie has a very distinct, not just a look, but the way that Jurassic World feels. It succeeds at my number one goal of the movie, which is to have a kid either look at the website or see the film and say, no, you have to take me there. That's real, right? We're going.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
Well, I initially went about casting, I think, in the same way Steven has gone about casting the other films in the franchise, which is I picked the best character actors available.
You're running, and then you get right here. You see it, you go boom, and he goes,
At that time, I wasn't aware that one of the great character actors that I chose was going to become a hugely successful movie star in the.
But he wasn't when you cast him.
Not at all. No, I just cast a great actor.
no, hold your fire. 12 amps and these animals are never going to trust me again.
I thought he had the chops for this, and Colin believed in him, and I really believed in him too. So it was a bit of a risk, and of course, when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, we all thought we were really smart. Even though we didn't make Guardians of the Galaxy, they made us look really smart.
Here we are in the raptor paddock. This is the first scene that we meet Owen, and we also see Owen trying to tame these wild raptors. In fact, that's exactly what they'll look like when the movie's done. Yo, Colin's my kind of director. Like, you can't tell anybody, but your character is going to basically be training raptors ultimately for military applications. And I was like, okay, I'm in. That sounds badass. Hey, go! It's a lot of running and jumping and leaping, punching, a lot of action hero moments. But for me, the biggest challenge is to not be goofy. It's my natural instinct to be a goofball. Ty gave me a nice big hug because he's a sweet kid, and I was like, oh, Ty. And so before every take, I would have to do this little ritual to be like, don't turn into a dumbass halfway through this take.
And where we have you reacting to that, and that whole roof is going to come down. And then you guys are going to come out this way as this Jeep smashes into this wall.
Got it.
Okay?
No rehearsal on tape, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard, I think, is one of the best actresses that we have. And she is absolutely gorgeous and incredible in the movie. And it was so exciting to work with her.
The Indominus Rex, our first genetically modified hybrid. A new species built from scratch. So many great, important things come from technological advancements, but one can become myopic when one doesn't step back and look at the bigger picture. What are the greater implications of this? What are the moral implications of this? And that is what is happening right now at Jurassic World. And Claire is responsible for the park. The implant will shock it if it gets too close to a perimeter fence.
To me, it's Claire's movie. She starts off pretty straight-laced, corporate, very uptight somewhat. It's all about meeting deadlines and margins and profits, and that's how she thinks.
Evacuate the island.
We'd never reopen.
But she ends the movie in a different place where she started.
Everyone, when I'm throwing, just a heads up, I wasn't hired for my throwing skills, so just I don't want anyone to get clocked like me.
When I was running with the flare and my shirt was gone and my skirt was ripped up to here and I'm super sweaty and filthy, I was just like, man, Claire has come so far in a 24-hour period. She has just really grown. I'm just really proud of Claire.
You sure there's nobody else who can fly a helicopter?
We don't need anyone else.
Irfan Khan, Omar Sy, both of the boys, Ty Simpkins, Nick Robinson. These are all great actors. B.D. Wong came back from the first film to play his role again. And I found that all of these people just really wanted to be there.
I just thought the idea was great. You know, we've never seen a full functioning park. And I was just very excited about that. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
Everyone has had that moment where I've seen that little kid come on in their eyes and they're just like, this is like playtime. This is the best.
You guys meet yet, by the way? I just wanted to say hey, I'm Chris. How you
Nice to
doing?
meet you.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
I'm well, thank you. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, I'm sure.
Sometimes you are on big set and you feel like you are doing a big movie because you feel the pressure. But here it's not like that because of Colin.
He's a special man. The way he deals with actors, he finds a moment if he wants to nudge you. It's very delicate and it has a lot of affection and friendliness. I really, really admire that, and as an actor, you need that.
We've got Vincent D'Onofrio, who, when he saw how nasty his character got to be, he was really excited about it.
You're gonna watch the news tomorrow? There's gonna be a story about how you all saved lives. No, better yet, how your animals saved lives.
You know, you don't approach a role like this, thinking of it as the villain. You know, I love my character, and I think my character is right, and everybody else is wrong.
This is not fair. With or without you.
We have Jake Johnson, who is an old friend of Colin's and was the star of Colin's other movie.
Open back 9. Really? You nuts?
We also have Lauren Lefkus, Judy Greer, Andy Buckley, all wonderful actors that have wanted to be a part of this movie.
Colin keeps pointing out how exciting it is to be in this movie. He'll be like, you're in Jurassic World. This is Jurassic World, which I think is so cool. I'm like, it is.
And even though the actors may be in a very small part, they really bring credibility and great talent to their roles.
Great. Thank you so much, you guys.
We knew we had to go to a green environment in order to do the jungle work. We thought about Costa Rica. It doesn't really have the same kind of infrastructure that other places have, and it made a lot more sense to go to Hawaii.
So we can see this side. Can we hug on this side so we can see it? Yeah, so if the camera's there.
We started our first day at the Honolulu Zoo, and that was going to be the petting zoo. And so we did a few things. We added a few things. We put some flags and stuff up. And then we had actors actually going around in gray suits being the little baby dinosaurs, and kids were riding them and all that stuff. And that's kind of how we started our day. It was a fairly easy day. It gave the crew a chance to kind of coalesce and, kind of work together for a little bit.
I can still ride the Triceratops in 47.5 inches.
Some places for little kids.
All right, cut. And cut. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
And then we began to move out. We moved across the island up over to the Kualoa Ranch, and we did a whole bunch of stuff up there at the loading platform.
Did you know the comments that the soft tissue is preserved because the iron in the dinosaur blood generates free radicals?
Okay, now a little bit louder, a little bit more hyped up.
What do you think's gonna happen from you just